Good evening. Paul's obviously a lot taller than I am. My name is Darlene Weales. I'm here representing Kawartha Credit Union. I have actually had a great time working with Steve with the Mount Community Project over the last number of years. We talk about social financing. I don't know how many people in the room are familiar with the credit union system, but it is a cooperative banking system. Basically, it's a pool of funds. We're self-funded. We support the communities that we serve, and a project such as the Mount Community Center was very exciting for me to get involved in. I have an accounting background. I came to Kawartha Credit Union a number of years ago, and something very different working in a credit union system as opposed to the traditional banking world is we actually have the opportunity within a credit union system to really impact the communities that we serve. I have actually had the opportunity to create some wonderful financing programs that are very specific to the not-for-profit community. I sit on a board of directors for the Yes Shelter for Youth and Families. It's been an amazing experience. One thing I love about Peterborough, I'm an import. This is not an area I grew up, but something I love about this area. It's a very philanthropic community. I have seen amazing things that this community has been able to pull together, and the not-for-profit sector here is really been wonderful to work with. With respect to the Mount Community Center, Steve and I and my former boss at the time, we had a lovely walk through that building, but when it didn't have hydro. It was flashlights, hard hats, and trying not to slip on a floor. The vision that Steve and at the time the Peterborough Poverty Reduction Network had for that property, not just the building, but what the hub that property could become for this community was very it was very engaging, and it was just an incredible opportunity. As a lending institution, obviously it's not something that we need a plan. So a business plan obviously was very important. We could certainly see where Steve and his group really wanted to get with that property. We were able to work with him for a couple of years just through the planning process and keeping in touch with him as how it was all unfolding. And when they got to that point where they were able to come back to us, they had a revenue stream with phase 1. They had all the pieces kind of in the planning and everything for phase 2, phase 3, which is still ongoing. As the credit union level, we were able to come in and build a very flexible, and I think a very excellent program that was able to take out the financing pieces from all of the different organizations and the different lenders that were involved, the vendor take-back, things like that, and actually be able to give them the capital that they needed then to continue and to move forward. This was my first foray into anything to do with the social bonds. I thought it was a great program. It gave the community in Peterborough specifically a place that they could invest their funds, and there was a vision at the end of it that was going to make the community better in the long run. I think anybody that's ever been through the Mount can certainly see how that has continued to unfold, and with the plans that are ongoing, how that will continue to move forward. So from a credit union perspective, I know there are a number of organizations in the room and potentially that you have contact with that don't necessarily understand how the credit union is maybe a little bit different than the traditional financial banks. I mentioned that we are cooperative. As a cooperative, we are self-funded. We believe in the communities that putting that money back into the communities. We actually have a community involvement program that we actually reinvest back into our communities as well. I don't want to take up too much time talking about those, but I certainly have information with me tonight that if you're interested in hearing more about that, I can provide that information. For those of you that are looking at transitional housing projects, as I know that the Yes Shelter is certainly involved with, as well as some other organizations, again, based on the model that the Mount Community Center has utilized and some other organizations in town that I've had the pleasure of working with, we do provide some very flexible programs. I like to get in at the beginning, even as all of this is unfolding, because in all honesty, being a working partner right from the idea right through to where it's actually launched, and then being able to come in, if you've got a community bond or if you're working with the community foundation, when those funds, when you get to a point where we can come in with a more conventional financing program for you to sort of get you to that last phase or even just a takeout piece, it actually allows that money to go back into the community, into other programs too. That I think has been very rewarding from our perspective. So if you would like more information with respect to how our whole program works, I'll be available to answer some of those questions. Thank you for your time.